Okay, to be honest, I tried to record the video once and then I hated how the banner looked, so I'm gonna restart. um, if you have any questions, then please tell me and I'll gladly explain it to you. I don't know exactly how much you already know about Photoshop, so I'm sorry if some of the stuff I explained is like redundant or self-explanatory. And you're also an editor, so I'm sure that you kind of get how certain preferences and stuff and like how things can be adjusted to how you like it. So yeah, also since I already made this video once, if I forget to explain something, then yeah, again, just tell me. So for the sake of time, because I technically only have an hour-ish to do this, I'm only going to do text in the middle, and because I'm going to show you how I do my text anyways, you can probably do it on the left and the right once I explain like how I do it. And a lot of the things that I do with my text are like I adjust them based on the font and just what I think looks better. Because yeah, some fonts, like, the settings will change. There are some, like for my bevel settings for example, there are things that I keep the same, but then I just things like size and stuff. But anyways, I just saturated this. I press Control U and it brings up this, and you can just play around with it and then get to know it. That's how I change my overlays, because I find a lot of overlays just from Google, and if I don't like the color, I'll just change it on here. So you probably already know this, but for text, there's an option where you can warp text. Like if I type it out, you can warp it. I'll just type something out real quick right here. I do use this sometimes when I feel lazy because the pen tool, it makes my computer lag. I use like the horizontal distortion and vertical distortion quite a lot. If you drag it to the right, it makes this side bigger. If you drag it to the left, it makes the left bigger. I use that quite frequently, but I don't really use the bend because it stretches the text, and compared to the pen tool, which I use a lot, it doesn't do that. So I'll try to show you the difference. Oops. Yeah, you see the difference? I mean, a lot of people won't be able to tell the difference, but I just think it looks better if you use the pen tool. So that's how I create all the paths for my text. I'm gonna assume that you know how to use the pen tool too, because I'm pretty sure After Effects editors use it a lot. I could be wrong about that. If you want me to explain how to use the pen tool, I totally will. So I'm just gonna make a path first with it. When I use something that I've noticed when I use the pen tool to make paths, the text can have some weird spacing. It can change the spacing. So it usually happens not when I do like simple arcs, but if I do like really weird wavy shapes and stuff, the spacing can get a little weird. So I use this to adjust the spacing. Yeah. And then these stretch the text. That changes the font size. Okay, I think that's good enough. Is it? I'll make it a little bigger. Okay. I think that's fine. So with my text, I layer a lot of effects on top of each other. So to do that, I rasterize layers a lot, quite frequently. Like I do it multiple times. So that's, especially with my text, I do that a lot. So before I add blending options, I'm going to distort the text a little bit. Doesn't matter which style you use because I'm gonna make the bend 0 anyways. So since the text is going like outwards like this from here, I'm gonna distort it to the right so that the E looks bigger and then K looks smaller. Yeah, just play around with those settings and you'll see what you prefer. So next I'm gonna add my bevel settings, like bevel the text. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at explaining things, I'm so sorry. So there's 2 ways that I'll do it. Sometimes I'll do, like when I was first starting out with like beveling my text, I did it this way. So I will make the altitude 5. It all has to do with the altitude. Like this, it changes the text, so it'll change the bevel so much. I don't really play around with the angle. I usually just make it 120. You can change it if you want, but I don't really care too much about it. Size obviously makes it bigger, softening it. I usually don't use this. Sometimes I will, but not really. Depth I play around with kind of a lot, but I use contour much more than depth. So if you drag it to the left, it'll make the lines really harsh. And if you drag it to the right, it'll make it smoother. But yeah, I'm going to... Oh wait, hold on. I was in the middle of explaining how I used to bevel my text. I sometimes still do this. I did it with the banner for Feywolf and Believed, and I think AJ same too. But I haven't done this since I made that banner for Believed, and that was like the first time in a while that I've done this. So I drag it, this part, to the left side a lot more, and then like, hold on, I'm just gonna make some adjustments so I can show you what I mean. So yeah, that's like one way that I would bevel my text, but I don't usually do that very often anymore. I prefer this way more, so I will change. I'm gonna adjust some things. So that's like the first thing. Then I'll add, after I rasterize this layer, then I'll add like I'll bevel it again so that I can add like the glossiness. So I'm just gonna keep it at this for now. And I'm gonna add a gradient overlay. I do this with my text just to add more color variation. I think that banners look better when you add more color variation, especially if you use contrasting colors. This banner is gonna be all pink, but it's better if you can use like a wide variety of colors. I feel like it makes it more attractive, more compelling, I guess. Obviously monochrome banners, like, you can't go wrong, and when it comes to using a lot of different colors, it can be hard because you don't know which colors will look good together. But I like using a lot of colors. But for now, I'm just gonna make this monochrome. I'm not gonna add a stroke yet because I'm gonna bevel it again after I rasterize this layer. But if I were to add the stroke now, then when I bevel it later, it'll go on top of the stroke. You probably, I don't know if you understand what I mean. Maybe you do. But yeah. You know what, I'm not gonna explain everything too far because you would probably just like look at my screen and tell what I'm doing. I'm gonna rasterize the layer style and then bevel it again. This is where I add like the glossiness. So I'm gonna change the altitude to 75. Like, any number close to this will work perfectly fine, but I just type in 75 because I know it works. And that's pretty much it. Like, you can adjust to how you like it. Oops, sorry. Sometimes when you rasterize the layer afterwards, like the bevels will get like less harsh. It'll be more, I don't know if I can show you it. Oh, it didn't do it this time. Maybe it's because of the font. Sometimes it'll like get smaller. It'll change after you rasterize the layer. It's weird, but it didn't do that, so. Yeah, then I'm gonna add another gradient overlay. And, sorry, I cracked my knuckle. What else can I explain while I'm doing this? I use a lot of keyboard controls, so if you have any questions about that, like if I do something that I don't explain because I'm using a keyboard control, you can just ask me. And all editors do this, like it's not a secret anymore, so. I mean, as you edit on Photoshop, you'll kind of build a preference towards certain things, so adjust as you need to. I used to like add lighter strokes like this, but I feel like I prefer adding darker strokes first and then adding a lighter stroke afterwards. So, okay, I think that looks fine. Actually, I want the gloss to be bigger. Or brighter. Okay. Almost done with text. Honestly, my process for text is pretty long, so instead of using the drop shadow that's on the blending options, you can totally do this if you want, but I guess I just don't like it. I don't know why, but I think the way that I drop shadow text is better. Can you see like the little gaps right here? Maybe if I increase the distance, you'll be able to see it, like right there. Right there, yeah. I do not like that, so I found out that you can do this to prevent those gaps. So I made a copy, Control J, and then I'm gonna I pressed my down arrow and my left arrow once each. Depending on which direction you transform the text, the drop shadow will go in that direction. And I usually do left and down. So now I'm gonna press Control, Shift, and Alt, and then I'm gonna press T. You can see right there, made a copy, and I'm gonna keep pressing it. I usually do it about like 6 to 10 times. You can make it as big or small as you want. And I'm gonna merge the layers and put a color overlay. I like to make the color overlay on the drop shadow darker than the text but lighter than the stroke. Does that make sense? And yeah, that's basically how I do my text. But I'm gonna add a inner glow to it again. Yeah, okay, and then I'm gonna add a stroke. I'll add a drop shadow too. I know I said that I usually don't use the drop shadow on like blending options or layer styles, but I do use it with black shadows. But I don't like to do it with like colored shadows that will be like super opaque, because it doesn't really matter if like you're turning the opacity down anyways. So yeah, I'll adjust as I need to once I add the background. And then after I do like the main text, that's usually when I add some effects to the green screen or animal or whatever. I don't really do too much with it. I usually just add like an inner glow and a stroke and a shadow. Oh, why is the... Oh, that's so bumpy. Maybe I just didn't green screen this well enough. Okay, I will fix it real quick. So, another thing, if you don't know how to use the color range like tool right here, then tell me and I'll explain it to you. But that's how I usually green screen my stuff because it typically gets like it's like the smoothest. Well, other than the pen tool actually. Pen tool takes too long though, so sometimes it turns out bumpy. I'm gonna quickly erase this, like the edges, so that it's smoother. I'm trying to figure out what looks better. Okay, I'm gonna keep it at that. Alright, now, background. This is where I struggle, to be honest, but I get all my backgrounds from Google Images and all my overlays. I do have some saved, but I typically just look on Google Images because I don't know. I look up anime backgrounds. That sounds kind of weird, but yeah, especially sunset background. So sunset background. And you can, whatever color scheme you have, you can also add that, and it'll get you a bunch of backgrounds. And it doesn't really matter because you're gonna blur it anyways, but I think it's a good start, I guess, for your background. I've been doing my backgrounds the same for years, and I don't know what else to like change about it. Even though I don't really, I still struggle with backgrounds. I haven't changed anything because I don't know what to change it to. But yeah, that's why I like making thumbnails more than banners, is because you can fit more of the background in. Because like you, for example, like this, you might like this part, or you like the entire thing, but you can only fit like so much into this, right? Because it's long and not that tall. I don't, yeah, that. But oh well. I'm just gonna adjust it a little bit. I need to center that text more. Okay. I'm gonna just move this real quick. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna blur this a second. Hold on. Okay. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And I blur it quite a lot, so I think 10 should be fine. Uh-oh, I didn't notice it before, but since I rasterize my text a lot, sometimes when you rasterize it, it's better to not like touch it after. Like you can move it or whatever, but you shouldn't resize it or like rotate it, because then what happens is if you put a stroke on the text afterwards like I do, then it won't be that smooth. Like you can kind of see right there, it's not that smooth. I don't know why it does that, but that's something I noticed. So I try not to touch the text after I rasterize everything, but I didn't notice it because the background was white and like transparent beforehand. So oh well, that's my fault. But now I'm gonna do background. So I will take a bunch of like color swatches from this, or like since my color scheme is pink, I just take a bunch of pink colors and just vary the shades. The more variance there is, the better it'll look in my opinion. So I'm just gonna add random swatches. If you've seen that, like I made a thumbnail tutorial a long time ago. I don't know if you've seen it, but I did this back then too. It's just how I do my backgrounds. I have no other like ideas on how to do it, so I just do it the same. Yeah. So just adding a bunch of swatches everywhere. I think that should be okay. Then I'm gonna blur it a lot, so it doesn't matter like where you put the colors technically, you just blur it in the end anyways. Then I'm going over here and changing, like I use these ones, like this section of blending options. Are these called blending options? I don't know. So yeah, I think that one looks the best. I'm gonna unsaturate this a little bit so that the pink kind of gets to stand out. I'm kind of between overlay and hard light. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it at this. Alright, so then I also, excuse my file names because they've literally been on my laptop for years and I just never changed it. So I'm going to add this in the background. If you want any of my overlays, by the way, you can just totally ask me. I don't really care. I just found these all on Google anyways. It all depends on what you search, so. So yeah, if you want any of the overlays I use in here, feel free to tell me and I will gladly send you them. Then I am going to erase the edges. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say something, but I think I can explain it towards the end. So then I'm gonna blur it a little bit because I want it to be a little bit blurred. Okay. And I'm going to make it light pink, probably. Oh, I have to rasterize this first. Then, whoop. I think that looks fine. I'm just gonna do a simple background today. I will show you some tips after, like I'll explain what I do in the backgrounds of my thumbnails because I'm so much better at thumbnail backgrounds. Like when I say that I enjoy thumbnails a lot more than banners, I totally mean that. I think the drop shadow is a little too dark, so I'm gonna change it. Should I make it a dark pink? I'm gonna try. Oh, that looks so much better. It's not even that big of a difference, but yeah. What should I add next? Overlays, probably. I can't think of like where I want this to go. I will add stars just because like I do that a lot. I pretty much do the same thing to these stars as I do with my text. I bevel them and everything. Okay, what else should I add? You know what? Since I am uncreative and my mind is stuck in 2016 editing, I'm just gonna add like nature stuff. Again, all of my stuff that I get is from Google Images. Oh, I should show you. That looks horrible. How I find stuff. So since I use a lot of nature stuff, I just look up like pink flower, PNG, things like that. Honestly, whatever you want to find, just describe it. Like if you want a wooden sign, just do wooden sign PNG, transparent PNG, like all those things. It'll get you whatever overlays you need. Yeah. So next, oh yeah, I'll just add some nature stuff. Some. Oh, did I say this earlier? I'm not sure. A lot of overlays I find online, if I don't like the color, I'll just recolor it myself. So I'm just gonna rasterize this so I can show you. I press Ctrl U, and then you can just change colors like that. If there's like, let me go to my nature. Okay. if you, let's see, what can I use? I'll use this for example. If you only want to change one certain color, like for this, if you say you want the middle part of this flower to be the same color, but then you want the yellow petals to change, then you go to select, color range. I don't know if AE has this. It probably does. So if you know how to use AE, you probably know how to do this. You go to color range, and then you select whatever color you want to change, and then right here, the fuzziness, you can adjust it, and whatever white part shows up, that's what will be selected. And then you can press Ctrl U and change the color. Yeah, that's how I recolor a lot of my stuff. So I'm going to add this overlay. I don't know exactly what I looked up to get this. I think it might have been Light Leaks overlay. What did I look up? Oh my god, I've had this overlay for so long that I don't even remember. If you want this overlay, you can tell me. But yeah, I add this overlay. This is what I would do before I had Magic Bullet Looks. I got Magic Bullet Looks, but not that long ago, and I still don't really know how to use it. So, I use presets, and I adjust it kind of like randomly because I don't know how to use it. So I'm assuming that you know how to use it. So I just want to explain it. This is what I would do before I had it though, and I'm just gonna turn on the opacity for the eraser tool and just make random little, I'm gonna erase little random pieces. And then, I don't know what color I want this to be, but I'm gonna put, I'll use color dodge, I guess. And then I'm gonna adjust it, the color. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna erase a little bit more because I think it's really bright. Yeah. Okay, and then finally, before I use Magic Bullet Looks. I created a new layer and I'm just gonna add little random dots everywhere. It'll kind of look like fireflies-ish or like little tiny little specks of light once I blur it. I'm just gonna place them randomly, and I'm also gonna vary the size so it looks more, I don't know how to describe it, like more realistic. I think that's good enough. Okay, then I'm gonna save it. I'll save it into my overlays. Okay, now that I saved it, I use Manageable Looks now. Again, I don't really know how to use it properly. I'm sure that you do. You know how to. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna play around with it. I'm still trying to figure it out. All right, and then after this, I put it all into like a banner, like you can look up the channel banner template, and then I save this, and then put it on here. Yeah, I guess I'll just show it to you anyways, cause why not?